the Jets were playing the defending NFC champions from last year. This is a really, really good football team. Was it more last night the 49ers being a championship great team, or was it the same old Jets?
No, so here's my stance on it, and we touched upon this a little bit earlier, Janae. There was always going to be rust tied to the Jets, period. That was going to be the case early on. Like when we were doing season predictions, one of the reasons why I had the Jets around 10 wins this year is not because I didn't think they were one of the 2 or 3 most talented teams in the NFL, not AFC, in the entire NFL, was just because of how many new guys they have to figure out how to work in. It's 3 new just on the offensive line alone. Vera Tucker and Rodgers coming back from season-ending injuries. Alan Lazard coming back from the worst season of his entire career. Mike Williams trying to work in. A second year for Xavier Gibson. Garrett Wilson figuring out Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers figuring out Garrett Wilson. I know that the Jets repped significantly more plays in practice, but that doesn't replace games. That doesn't replace actual live reps. The defense, you were talking about how bad they struggled against the ground. They didn't run a single tackling drill that the media were in attendance for. All of that leads to a situation that is going to take 2 or 3 weeks for these guys to get back into real game shape, to get back into figuring out how to play each other, and then eventually hit their stride. So this game against San Francisco, I thought it was going to be closer once Christian McCaffrey wasn't out there. But no, this was just an example of a team that's still finding their way, that showed you glimpses and pieces of what they can be and what they will become, but they're just not there yet. So I wouldn't freak out. I wouldn't panic. I wouldn't be alarmed. And one of the things that is acting very much in the Jets' favor is these next 4 games, they are incredibly winnable. They are all there for the Jets. Every single one of these. We should be talking about the Jets-Bills first matchup of the season with the 4-1 Jets against whatever the Bills are at that point. I genuinely do believe that. This doesn't mean that I wasn't completely just throw away everything we saw last night. Like, it's not like you can say, oh, the tackling, the run defense was bad, just forget it, it was week 1. The offense couldn't sustain drives, I forget it, it was just week 1. No. That I'm not saying. Like, there were aspects that were alarming. But as far as raising red flags and sounding the alarms, that's not what I would do yet, because a lot of this I do believe is rust. Now, if they struggle the same against the Titans next week, well, I'm a little bit more concerned. Like, that's going to be something I'm a little more freaking out about. I still have my issues with Hackett like I was talking about before. But overall, big picture, I still think this is going to be a Jets team that finishes the year with 10 wins. And we are not going to be talking about them winning the AFC East. I think that's going to be JJ's Dolphins. But this will be the team that in December and in January, every analyst is saying, you don't want to play the Jets in the playoffs, because they will be peaking and going at the right time. They're just not there yet. I do think, though, major thing, this was a wake-up call. And it should be a wake-up call. I mean, that's because the Niners are what the Jets want to be.
That's what I was going to say. Are the Niners that good? I mean, yeah. They were pretty impressive.
Yes.
Oh, they're without McCaffrey. They're loaded. Yes, everywhere. Yes.
Janae, think about it. The Niners have been in, 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls? They've been in, I think, 4 straight NFC title games. They have a well-oiled machine. Kyle Shanahan is like this generation's Andy Reid. Like, he's done everything imaginable in football. The only thing he needs to do is win a Super Bowl. And what I'd be alarmed at, this is not a same old Jet loss. You lost to the NFC champs in their building, and they have a loaded roster. But this defense needs to be ready to go. Connor hit at something. Their next 4 games, they're going to be favored in every single one of those games. At Tennessee, game you should win. New England at home, game you should win. Denver, game you should win. Minnesota in London, game you should win. The Jets will be favorites in every single one of those games. I know that there's a rust factor and the idea that there are a lot of new pieces, a lot of new bodies on this team, but these are winnable games. You cannot flush them. This defense has got to be much better. And listen, if there's one element we haven't talked about, Kyle Shanahan's offense ran circles around Robert Saleh's defense. And there's a comfort level with those 2 guys. Saleh was his defensive coordinator. Shanahan obviously has been matching wits with Robert Saleh for a long period of time. That, to me, was eye-opening. This is not a same old Jet loss. You lose to the Titans on Sunday, everything I'm saying now, I want a mulligan back for. It's like I'm on the first tee at Silver Lake. Give me the breakfast ball if the Jets lose outright to the Titans. But this is not a same old Jet loss. No way.